Chapter 1. The morning mist over Xochimilco. You awaken slowly, as if surfacing from the depths of a dream, to the gentle, rhythmic rocking of the canoe beneath you, each movement guided by the tender lap of water against the polished wooden hull, a sound that feels almost like the slow, steady breathing of a loved one at your side. The soft rustle of tall reeds sways around you, whispering to the morning in voices too old to decipher, their tips bending slightly as the first breath of dawn passes over the lake. A pale silver mist hangs low across the waters of Lake Xochimilco, rising in drifting ribbons like the warm exhalations of Calcatlacu, the jade-skirted goddess of flowing waters, whose breath nourishes every drop and renews every current. Through this shifting veil, shapes begin to emerge, slender, elongated, almost dream-born silhouettes, revealing the chinampas, the fabled floating gardens, stretching outward into the horizon in a labyrinthine network of green. The air is cool and perfectly still, carrying with it the quiet perfume of water lilies as they slowly unfurl their white and pink petals toward the eastern sky, greeting Tonatiuh, the radiant sun god, who is only now beginning his ascent. The delicate sweetness of morning dew mixes with the faint, earthy aroma of the lake's rich vegetation. As you lean over the canoe's side, your fingers slip beneath the surface, trailing through water that feels as if it has been steeped in moonlight, smooth and perfectly tempered, neither cold nor warm, like touching liquid jade before the day has fully awoken. In the green shadow beneath, flashes of silver dart between the reeds, tiny fish moving in quick, effortless harmony, their scales briefly catching and scattering the newborn light. The air is cool and perfectly still, carrying with it the quiet perfume of water lilies as they slowly unfurl their white and pink petals toward the eastern sky, greeting Tonatiuh, the radiant sun god, who is only now beginning his ascent. The delicate sweetness of morning dew mixes with the faint, earthy aroma of the lake's rich vegetation. As you lean over the canoe's side, your fingers slip beneath the surface, trailing through water that feels as if it has been steeped in moonlight, smooth and perfectly tempered, neither cold nor warm, like touching liquid jade before the day has fully awoken. In the green shadow beneath, flashes of silver dart between the reeds, tiny fish moving in quick, effortless harmony, their scales briefly catching and scattering the newborn light. Somewhere far off, carried faintly through the mist, comes the sound of another canoe's slow progress. The soft splash of a pole pressing against the lake bed, followed by the faint creak of wood. The sound grows clearer, and through the thinning vapor appears an elderly farmer. His back slightly bent from decades of labor, yet his movements precise and unhurried, each gesture guided by years of knowing exactly how the water and the earth should be handled. His hands are dark and weathered, as if carved from the very soil of the Chinampas, and his eyes hold the calm patience of one who has repeated this journey each morning for 40 years, tracing the same winding channels first cut by his grandfather's hands. The Chinampas themselves stretch in all directions like a living mosaic, each rectangular plot bound by the roots of ancient awi-wadi willows, their gnarled trunks standing as guardians at the edges. These willows, planted long ago, have interwoven their roots with reeds and mud, knitting together a foundation so strong that the land does not merely float. It breathes with the lake itself. The Aztecs call this art of creation, making land where there was no land asterisk, a phrase that feels as much a blessing as it is an achievement. Between the plots, the narrow canals glisten like polished obsidian mirrors, reflecting the drifting mist and the early colors of sunrise. Your canoe glides closer to one of these garden islands, the water parting softly around the hull. You can now see the rich, dark soil, built up layer by layer from lakebed sediment, decomposed plants, and carefully gathered compost. Even the waste from Tenochtitlan's bustling streets, returned here as nourishment for the earth. It is a soil so fertile that it can bear 3 full harvests each year, a generosity of the land that allows the great city to feed hundreds of thousands of people without ever exhausting the ground. On Th. nearest Chinampa, neat rows of young maize rise from the earth in delicate green lines, their leaves still trembling slightly from the passing breeze. To the Aztecs, maize is more than food, it is the body of humanity itself. In their sacred stories, the gods shaped the first humans from asterisk masa, the soft, golden dough of ground corn, and within each kernel lies the very essence of life. Every ear of corn grown here is not just sustenance. It is a continuation of that divine creation, a small echo of the first shaping of the human spirit. As you watch the farmer tend to his plot, the lake's stillness settles deeper into your own breathing. The mist has begun to lift, revealing more of the endless green. Yet the calm remains unbroken, as if the waters themselves wish to keep this morning wrapped in quiet protection for as long as possible. The voices of distant birds float down through the pale air, herons calling softly from the shallows, unseen yet unmistakable. Somewhere nearby, the smooth plop of a turtle dropping into the water sends tiny ripples spreading outward in perfect circles. The world feels whole here, unhurried, suspended in a moment that does not need to end. And as you let your eyes drift closed again, rocking gently on the cradle of the canoe, The soft chorus of lake and garden surrounds you, carrying you deeper into rest. If you have found peace in this journey, if the waters of Xochimilco have stilled the currents of your mind, I invite you to remain with us, night after night, for more stories beneath the quiet skies. Let your dreams guide you to return here, and before you drift away, remember, your support helps keep these waters flowing. So please, take a moment to like this video and subscribe, allowing our tranquil voyages to reach you again when the next dawn calls. Between the tall green rows of corn, you notice something beautiful, something that has been part of the land's wisdom for countless generations. The three sisters growing together in quiet harmony. Maize stands tall and straight, its stalks reaching upward toward the softening morning sky. Bean vines spiral upward, wrapping themselves around the corn for support, their leaves glistening with dew, and at the base, the wide, generous leaves of squash stretch across the soil like a protective blanket, holding the earth's moisture, shielding it from the heat, and keeping weeds at bay. This ancient companionship of plants has fed entire civilizations, and here, in the heart of these gardens, you can feel its quiet strength. The early mist is beginning to thin as the sun slowly climbs higher, and with its gentle unveiling, more of the intricate waterways come into view. Canals branch out in straight, graceful lines between the fertile garden plots, carrying water like lifeblood to every corner. They are more than just irrigation. They are the veins and arteries of an empire, allowing farmers to glide silently in canoes from their homes in Xochimilco to the great bustling market at Tlatelolco, where the colors, voices, and fragrances of the city converge. In the still shallows, a heron stands utterly motionless, its gray form like a meditation in patience. It waits, silent, perfectly attuned to the ripples beneath the surface. Then, in a sudden, swift motion, it strikes, emerging with a small silver fish that flashes in the light before disappearing into its beak. The movement sends rings of ripples across the water, circles expanding outward until they fade back into calm. The water plants sway in the gentle current as though breathing with the lake. Tall cattails bend, their narrow leaves whispering secrets to one another in a language only the wind understands. Their brown seed heads begin to loosen, releasing tiny feathered parachutes that catch the morning breeze. Some drift only a short distance, while others begin long journeys to unknown shores, carried by the patient hand of the wind. Faint voices travel across the water, mingling with the sound of paddles dipping rhythmically into the lake. A family of farmers is beginning their daily work, the father's deep and steady voice mixing with the lighter, musical tones of his wife and children. They speak in Nahuatl, the flowing, poetic language of the Aztecs, each word gliding like water around the hull of your canoe. Your boat drifts deeper into the soft green maze of the canals, and you pass a floating garden where an old woman is tending her flowers. She works slowly and carefully, her hands moving with the ease of a lifetime's knowledge. She grows bright marigolds for the temples, orange and yellow blooms so vivid they seem to hold pieces of the sun itself. Their petals will soon decorate altars and offerings, carrying prayers upward to the gods in ceremonies across the city. As she works, she hums a song older than memory, a melody so gentle it blends with the sighing of the morning breeze and the distant calls of water birds. The marigolds are known as Sympacical *, 20 flower in Nahuatl, named for the many delicate petals that mirror the 20-day signs of the Aztec calendar. Their beauty is more than ornamental. They are a bridge between the living and the ancestors. Their colors burn bright enough to guide spirits back home during festivals, and their strong, sweet scent lingers in the air, as if carrying messages between worlds. Here, in this drifting moment, everything feels connected: the water, the plants, the voices, the distant mountains. Time moves slowly, like the gentle current beneath your canoe, and you find yourself breathing in rhythm with the lake, each inhale drawing you deeper into calm, each exhale releasing you further into stillness. Your canoe glides forward, the gentle push of the paddle barely disturbing the still surface of the water. Ahead, you pass beneath a small bridge, woven entirely from reeds gathered along the lake's edge. The farmers built it to connect their garden islands, tying the fibers together in intricate patterns that have endured seasons of rain and sun. The bridge is light yet strong, swaying slightly under the weight of those who cross. Children run across it, their bare feet whispering softly against the reed matting. Their laughter rises into the morning air, a bright sound that echoes off the water and ripples through the mist. They wear simple white cotton tunics, freshly washed and drying in the warmth of the sun. Maguey fiber sandals tied snugly to their feet. Their hair, dark and glossy, catches glints of light as they dart between the shadows of the bridge supports. One child pauses in mid-run, turning toward your canoe. She lifts her hand in a shy wave, her eyes bright as polished obsidian. Her smile is pure and unguarded, bright as the morning sun reflecting off the lake. In her small hand, she holds a clay figurine no larger than your thumb. The surface is smooth and warm from her touch. Perhaps it is a toy, or perhaps an offering meant for Tlaloc, the rain god whose blessing keeps these gardens green and plentiful. In that single moment, you feel the simplicity of joy, how it often springs not from wealth or grandeur, but from the smallest of things. A smile, a gesture, a cherished object carried close to the heart. Beneath your canoe, the water is so clear it feels like floating in air. You can see down to the lake's sandy bottom, where freshwater springs bubble up from unseen depths, their constant, gentle upwelling sending ribbons of movement through the otherwise still water. These springs are the secret keepers of the lake's balance, feeding it steadily through all seasons, ensuring that the floating gardens never dry and the canals remain passable year-round. Schools of tiny fish dart and weave below, their silver sides catching the sun in quick flashes, like scattered coins tumbling through light. Some of these fish are food, raised carefully in underwater pens woven from reeds, their numbers guarded with patience to ensure a lasting supply. Others are kept purely for beauty, splashes of orange and gold that turn the lake into a living mosaic. They move in unison, responding to currents invisible to you, shifting like liquid constellations across the sandy floor. On the water's skin, the smallest of dancers perform, water striders, their delicate legs touching down so lightly that the surface holds them. Each step leaves a perfect, round dimple in the mirrored water, an almost invisible footprint. They skim effortlessly across reflections of drifting clouds, moving between worlds, mastering the fragile balance between water and air. Their passage leaves no lasting trace, just the memory of their fleeting journey. A dragonfly settles on the wooden rim of your canoe. Its wings catch the light, refracting colors that shift with every small movement. Blue as deep mountain lakes, green as the youngest spring leaves, shimmering as if touched with precious stones of jade and turquoise. In the beliefs of the Aztecs, dragonflies are messengers, carrying words between the human world and the divine realms above and below. You watch it, wondering what message it might bear. Perhaps a blessing for peace, for safety, for the continuation of dreams. The morning sun now rests more fully upon your face, its warmth a gentle weight that seeps into your skin. Yet the mist has not fully surrendered. It still clings to the water in delicate threads, winding between reeds and curling above the gardens. In this soft haze, the world feels both near and far. The boundary between earth and sky seem to blur, and the floating gardens appear and vanish like drifting islands in a sea of clouds. From somewhere far across the water, a sound rises, a low, resonant call that seems to come from another age. The conch shells are being blown in Tenochtitlan, summoning the faithful to the morning prayers at the great temple. The deep, haunting tones carry over the lake, their vibrations mixing with the soft lap of waves against your canoe, with the rustle of cattails bending to the breeze, with the faint splash of a fish breaking the surface. The sound is both a call and a comfort, a reminder that this place is alive with rhythm, with connection, with the steady pulse of life moving through water, land, and air. And so you drift onward, unhurried, each paddle stroke drawing you deeper into this dreamlike morning. Each sound, each sight, each breath folding gently into the next, until time itself feels as fluid as the lake beneath you. Your eyelids begin to grow heavy, as if each blink draws you deeper into the embrace of the lake. The gentle rocking of the canoe cradles you like a child in a hammock. Every subtle movement a rhythm your body remembers from before you had words. Around you, the soft sounds of morning weave themselves into a lullaby without melody. Just the sigh of reeds leaning in the breeze, the whisper of ripples brushing against wood, the distant call of a bird greeting the rising sun. The mist curls around your shoulders like a blanket spun from clouds, wrapping you in a cool, silken touch. The sunlight, warm and golden, rests lightly on your skin, its heat gentle enough to soothe, never sharp enough to wake you fully. The last image you take in before sleep tugs you under is the reflection of clouds painted across the still water, white and weightless, drifting like the dreams that wait for you just beyond the edge of thought. The surface shimmers faintly as if the lake itself were breathing, and your own breath begins to match it. Slow, steady, calm. Each inhale gathers the scent of water lilies, green and floral. Each exhale releases the last fragments of waking thought. Your eyelids surrender to gravity. Somewhere in the mist, the water hums softly through the stems of lilies, a sound that is neither wind nor wave but something in between. A voice the lake uses only for those who are drifting into dreams. You sink, not downward, but inward, into a deep, still pool of rest. The rocking of the canoe fades, and time folds away until only quiet remains. And then, slowly, delicately, you return. Chapter 2: The Floating Gardens of Abundance. You awaken as if drawn upward by light, the way a lotus slowly opens to meet the sun. Your senses return in soft fragments. The cool kiss of morning air on your cheeks, the faint scent of wet earth, the deep stillness of water around you. When your eyes open, you find your canoe has drifted to a quiet cove. Here, the water is as smooth and dark as polished obsidian, holding the reflection of the azure sky with perfect clarity. So perfect that it feels as though you are floating between two heavens. The morning has deepened into that golden hour when the sun sits in perfect balance. Neither too high nor too low, neither harsh nor dim. Its rays pour gently through the canopy of awi-wadi asterisk trees lining the shore. These ancient giants stand with a stillness that only centuries can teach. Their massive, gnarled trunks twist upward, their roots anchoring deep into the lake bed, while their highest branches stretch into the open air, touching the light as though bridging worlds. The Aztecs call these sacred willows old men of the water. Some have lived for more than 1,000 years, quiet witnesses to the rise and fall of empires, to ceremonies and storms, to the unbroken rhythm of seasons passing like the flow of the lake itself. Their bark holds the memory of rain, their leaves the memory of countless dawns. You glide beneath their shade, the air beneath their branches cooler, filled with the faint, sweet scent of their sap. Your canoe drifts toward a chinampa, one of the famed floating gardens that seem to hover on the water's surface. Here, a farmer works in silence, moving with the patient grace of one who understands that every hurried step risks breaking the harmony of the earth. His bare feet press into the rich, dark soil, knowing by feel alone where the ground is firmest and where it needs the gentle press of his heel to settle it. He wears a simple maxtlatl, a white cotton loincloth, leaving his skin bare to the sun's steady warmth. The bronze tone of his body speaks of many seasons spent under Tonitius' gaze. Around his neck hangs a small amulet of carved jade, a talisman for protection, invoking the blessing of Tlaloc, the rain god whose mercy turns seed into harvest. You watch as he kneels among his tomato plants. Here in the Valley of Mexico, these tomato first found their home, and their scarlet fruits now hang like miniature suns among the tangle of green leaves. The farmer leans close to each plant, whispering words so soft you cannot catch them. He thanks them for their generosity, asks for their continued strength, and offers his care in return. A conversation older than writing, as natural as the turning of the seasons. Beside the tomatoes grow rows of chili peppers, sleek and glossy, their colors shifting from pale green to the deep, fiery red that warns of their heat. The Aztecs have cultivated dozens of varieties, each with its own personality, some sharp and hot enough to spark fire on the tongue, others sweetly mild, adding warmth rather than flame. Some will be dried and ground into powder fine as dust, stored for months to flavor stews and sauces. Others will be eaten fresh, sliced into thin slivers that release their bright, almost citrus scent. Here in the garden, that scent mingles with the clean, mineral aroma of the lake's water, creating an air that smells both alive and ancient. The farmer pauses for a moment, standing with his hand resting on the handle of a simple wooden tool. He looks across the water, his gaze steady, as if measuring the day's light and deciding how much work it will allow. Somewhere beyond, a heron lifts into the air, its wings broad and slow, the tips skimming the mist as it glides toward the open lake. And in this moment, between the stillness of the water, the quiet movements of the farmer, the soft glow of the sun, you feel it. The abundance here is not only in crops or harvests, but in the harmony of all living things. In another part of the garden, your gaze follows the slender rise of bean vines as they wind their way upward along tall wooden stakes. Their growth is purposeful yet graceful, spiraling toward the light with a patience that only plants understand. Each vine is clothed in heart-shaped leaves, their soft green surfaces catching the sun and casting intricate patterns of shadow on the dark soil below. As the breeze stirs, those shadows shift and sway, creating an ever-changing tapestry on the ground. Here and there, clusters of blossoms emerge, small, delicate, and perfectly formed, white petals brushed with faint touches of lavender and purple. These flowers, fragile as they appear, are the quiet promise of abundance to come. In time, they will give way to pods filled with beans, protein-rich seeds that will nourish families, travelers, merchants, and warriors, sustaining millions across the great empire. The farmer pauses his work, setting down the simple wooden tool he has been using to loosen the soil. Without a word, he reaches for a gourd bowl resting in the shade of a basket. He dips it into a small clay jar and offers it to you with both hands, a gesture of welcome and trust. Inside is cool, clear water, flecked with tiny dark seeds that swirl slowly as the bowl moves. You take a sip, and the freshness blooms across your tongue, water infused with chia seeds and a touch of wild honey. The drink is smooth and satisfying, the seeds adding a faint, nutty texture, the honey a golden sweetness that lingers. To the Aztecs, chia is more than food. It is sacred, a gift of endurance and strength, believed to give warriors the stamina to travel far and fight without tiring. As the liquid slides down your throat, you can almost feel that quiet energy weaving itself into your body. While you drink, your eyes wander over the garden, taking in its perfect balance. The crops are not planted in random rows, but in a careful, deliberate arrangement that feels as natural as it is ingenious. Tall plants stand as living shelters, casting protective shade over smaller, more delicate crops that would wither under direct midday sun. Deep-rooted plants draw minerals from the unseen depths of the soil, feeding not only themselves but their shallow-rooted neighbors who draw water and nutrients closer to the surface. Every leaf, every stem, every root is in conversation with the others, each fulfilling a role in this quiet community of life. Between the planted beds, narrow channels of water glint in the sunlight, their surfaces rippled by the faintest breeze. These channels are fed directly from the lake through a precise system of wooden gates and clay pipes, each placed exactly where the farmer needs it. With a few movements of the gates, he can flood an area to give the roots a deep drink, or drain it to prepare for harvest. This is not guesswork. This is knowledge passed down through generations, refined until it has become something close to perfection. Even now, in the modern world beyond this moment, no irrigation system has surpassed the efficiency and elegance of this ancient method. At the far edge of the Chinampa, where the soil meets the open water, tall amaranth plants sway gently. Their stalks are crowned with vibrant plumes, shades of crimson, gold, and deep purple, waving in the morning breeze like banners in a festival procession. These grains are more than nourishment. They are central to rituals that tie the people to their gods. The seeds are ground into fine flour and baked into sacred breads, shaped into figures of the deities themselves. During certain ceremonies, these edible images are blessed, then eaten, allowing the worshippers to take the essence of the divine into their bodies. It is an act that merges the earthly and the sacred in a single bite, reminding all who partake that the gods dwell not on ly in the heavens, but also within the gifts of the land. Along a narrow canal beside the garden, a family of ducks paddles leisurely, their movements unhurried in the warmth of the sun. The mother swims in front, her feathers a soft, mottled brown that blends perfectly with the reeds. Behind her, a perfect line of ducklings follows, their downy bodies bobbing gently with each small wave. Their soft quacking rises and falls like a lullaby, accompanied by the faint sound of water lapping against the canal walls. Every so often, a duckling dives headfirst beneath the surface, its tiny feet kicking in a brief flurry before it re-emerges with a glistening fragment of water plant or a wriggling insect. Each movement sends rings of ripples spreading outward, blending and overlapping until the surface is once again smooth. You begin to notice how seamlessly every part of this Chinampa system works together, each life form supporting another. The ducks feed on insects that might otherwise harm the crops, keeping the plants safe without the need for anything more than their natural hunger. Their droppings, in turn, fertilize the water plants, enriching the canals. These water plants filter and feed the lake itself, providing nourishment for the fish, which in their own way contribute to the garden's vitality. Nothing here is wasted. Every life feeds into another, completing a circle that has turned without interruption for centuries. Above the bean rose and amaranth plumes, butterflies drift and dance on invisible currents of air. Their wings are living jewels, flashes of orange and black, white and gold, blue and green. Each movement a flicker of sunlight made flesh. They flutter among the blossoms, sipping nectar with delicate, coiled tongues, carrying pollen from one flower to another in their silent work of renewal. To the Aztecs, butterflies are more than insects. They are messengers, symbols of transformation, the living embodiment of the soul's journey. It is said that the spirits of warriors who fell in battle return in butterfly form to feast in the paradise of the sun god. Watching them now, it is easy to believe, for there is something otherworldly in the way they move, resting for only a heartbeat before lifting away again, carried toward some unseen destination. And so the garden hums quietly with life. Each movement, each color, each sound folds into a whole that is more than the sum of its parts. Here, in the heart of the Chinampa, everything belongs, everything is connected, and nothing, no leaf, no drop of water, no breath of wind, is without purpose. The farmer guides your gaze to a part of the Chinampa dedicated entirely to flowers, a living tapestry of color, fragrance, and devotion. Here, blooms rise in careful clusters, each chosen not merely for beauty, but for the prayers they carry, the meanings they hold, the spirits they honor. Marigolds glow with a brilliance that seems to have captured fragments of the sun itself. Their petals flare like small flames, warm and golden, radiating light even in the soft shadows of morning. White tuberose release their intoxicating perfume into the air, a scent so rich it seems to shimmer around you, wrapping the space in a soft, enveloping haze of fragrance. Red coxcomb flowers, with their intricate plumed heads, stand tall and proud, as though mimicking the plumage of noble warriors, their serrated leaves and vibrant tones proclaiming strength and dignity. Each flower has its own purpose and its own voice. The yellows honor Tonadiu, the sun god whose daily journey across the sky brings warmth and life. The blues are offerings to Tlaloc, the bringer of rain, whose presence is felt in the gentle tremor of water across the lake. Whites are for Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent patron of wind, wisdom, and knowledge, whose image dances in the curling smoke of ceremonial fires. The farmer is not merely growing a garden. He is cultivating visible prayers, translating devotion into petals, stems, and colors that will travel far beyond this floating plot. Each bloom is a letter in a silent conversation with the divine, a message that rises with scent and sunlight to reach the heavens above and the spirits that dwell within the water below. A soft breeze begins to stir, gliding across the lake's surface, carrying the perfume of countless flowers mingled with the earthy aroma of dark, fertile soil and the fresh, clean scent of water. The air shimmers with the mingling of these scents, each inhalation drawing you deeper into the garden's spell. It feels as if the breeze itself is speaking, whispering secrets from one chinampa to another, carrying tiny messages from gardener to gardener, spirit to spirit, from the lake itself to the floating islands of green, gold, and flowered color. You can almost hear the hushed hum of these messages, like water murmuring softly to itself. In the distance, other chinampas reveal glimpses of life in motion. Families work together, moving slowly and deliberately across the small islands of cultivated land. Multiple generations labor side by side, the wisdom of grandparents flowing through their hands into the younger fingers learning the work for the first time. They teach which plants thrive in each season, how to read the sky for clouds and the water for currents, how to balance the needs of soil and plant, wind and sun, life and water. Every action is deliberate, informed by centuries of observation, memory, and respect for the natural rhythms that sustain them. The gardens themselves are alive with this accumulated knowledge, a living library of human care, devotion, and patience, mirrored in the stillness of the lake and the constant hum of insects and birds. At the edge of your own garden, a great blue heron descends silently, each movement so measured and graceful it seems more like floating than stepping. Its long legs bend and straighten with the perfect control of a creature born to patience. Its gaze fixed yet soft, its feathers catching the light and reflecting subtle hints of blue, gray, and silver. The bird stands absolutely still, a living statue, embodying quiet observation, calm, and wisdom. The farmer lowers his head slightly, nodding in acknowledgement. He knows, as anyone who has lived among the waters does, that such a bird is more than an animal. It is a messenger, a bridge between the lake and the unseen world of spirits that inhabit water, air, and all living things. You watch it remain there, motionless yet vital, until it finally spreads its wings and glides effortlessly toward another canal, leaving the water as smooth as glass in its wake. The sun climbs higher in the sky, its warmth now settling on your shoulders and arms, drawing the fragrances of the flowers even more fully into the air. Bees move methodically from bloom to bloom, their bodies dusted in fine golden pollen. They hum, a soft, constant vibration that joins with the breeze and the gentle ripple of the water, creating a natural symphony of life. With each visit to a flower, they carry not just nectar, but a small piece of the garden to the hive, transforming the liquid sweetness into honey. A miracle born of patience, cooperation, and the alchemy of living systems. Every sound, every scent, every movement seems to hum with quiet order, a rhythm designed not to demand your attention, but to gently guide it into serenity. You feel drowsiness creeping in, the warm sun lulling your body, the gentle rocking of the canoe softening every muscle. The lapping of water against the hull blends seamlessly with the subtle rustling of leaves in the breeze, with distant voices carried across the lake, speaking a language of everyday life that somehow feels timeless. All these elements fuse into a lullaby without melody, a lullaby made by earth, water, and sky. Your breath deepens, slow and steady, matching the pulse of the floating gardens. Inhale the fragrance of flowers, soil, and water filling your chest. Exhale, releasing tension, worry, and thought. Inhale the sun's warmth, the gentle hum of bees, the distant quacking of ducks, the soft footfalls of the farmer. Exhale, sinking deeper into relaxation. The farmer's quiet humming mingles with the surrounding sounds, a single note among many, creating a symphony of contentment. It is a melody older than memory, older than language, carrying the promise of rest and renewal. The longer you remain in the embrace of this scene, the more the world outside fades. Time slows, the edges of consciousness soften, and the lake itself seems to breathe with you. Shadows stretch lazily across the water. Light flickers among the flowers, casting moving patterns that dance across your eyelids even when closed. The breeze carries soft whispers, the echoes of prayers written in petals, of messages sent between islands of life. Each ripple in the water, each brush of wind against leaf and bloom, matches the rhythm of your heartbeat, until there is no separation between yourself and the floating gardens, no division between body, mind, and the peaceful lake around you. And so, as the sun climbs higher and the garden hums with life, you feel yourself drifting deeper and deeper into this world of calm. Each sight, scent, and sound becomes a gentle thread, weaving a cocoon of rest around your mind. Your eyelids grow heavier, your muscles relax, and the garden, the lake, the farmer, the heron, the bees, and the flowers all become part of the same lullaby, carrying you slowly, steadily, into the gentle, restorative arms of sleep. The last sensation you feel before sleep fully claims you is the gentle warmth of the sun upon your face, the steady, rocking motion of the canoe cradling you as though the lake itself were a mother's arms. It is a feeling as tender as being held by Calcayetlacu herself, the jade-skirted goddess who watches over all flowing waters. The soft rustle of amaranth plumes brushing against each other, the faint shimmer of sunlight glinting off the lake's surface, and the distant murmurs of wildlife blend together into a lullaby older than memory. Your eyelids grow impossibly heavy. You inhale the warm, fragrant air of the floating gardens one last time and exhale slowly, sinking deeper into rest, drifting into a deep, restorative sleep. Chapter 3: The Sacred Waters of Healing. When you stir, it is slow, gentle, like a water lily unfurling its petals to greet the afternoon sun. Consciousness returns in delicate waves, your body moving in time with the lake. The canoe has drifted to a secluded lagoon, hidden from the busier waterways of Xochimilco, where the light glows softly, filtered through floating gardens of medicinal plants. The water here seems almost alive, catching the sun and reflecting it in pale, ethereal greens and blues, as if infused with a quiet magic. The air carries the subtle, soothing fragrances of healing herbs, the faintly minty aroma of hierba buena, the sharp sweetness of toloatzin flowers, the grounding earthiness of sage-like plants growing along the edges of the chinampa. A small shrine rises from the water on wooden stilts, adorned with woven mats and bright offerings. From it, thin trails of copal incense drift upward, curling into the sky in delicate spirals. In the golden afternoon light, the smoke seems almost solid, each curl a visible prayer sent to the gods of health and wellness. It moves as though guided by invisible hands, stretching and twisting, carrying intentions and blessings across the lagoon. An elderly Karandra works among the floating plants, moving with deliberate reverence. Her hair is silver as moonlight, braided and interwoven with strips of blue cloth that mark her devotion to Tlazolteotl, the goddess who governs healing, purification, and transformation. Her eyes are calm and clear, reflecting centuries of knowledge, and her hands move with an almost sacred rhythm, touching each plant with care. She wears a finely woven hupel of white cotton, embroidered with symbols representing medicinal plants, healing hands, and sacred geometry. The threads shimmer with natural dyes, deep crimson from cochineal insects, warm gold from tree bark, rich indigo from flowers, each color imbued with symbolic and spiritual power, believed to enhance the healing properties of the plants themselves. You watch as she gently harvests leaves and blossoms from a plant the Aztecs call Toloatzin asterisk, known today as datura. Its large white flowers bloom at night, glowing softly against the dark green of its foliage, like stars scattered across an earthly sky. She handles them with profound respect, fully aware of the plant's potency, its ability to heal deep physical pain, open the mind to sacred visions, and connect the mortal with the divine. Her movements are precise yet flowing, as if conducting an unseen ceremony with each stem and leaf she touches. Nearby, rows of hierba buena, the good herb known to us as mint, stretch across the garden. Their leaves release a cool, invigorating fragrance whenever brushed by fingers or wind. The Karandra moves among them, whispering blessings, touching each plant with a soft hum of words that seem older than language itself. These leaves are used to calm digestion, soothe anxious thoughts, and refresh the spirit. Each plant is nurtured with both skill and reverence, forming an interconnected web of healing that stretches across the water, the soil, and even the air itself. The water surrounding the floating garden is astonishingly clear, a mirror and a window at once. Fish swim lazily beneath the surface, their movements slow and unhurried. Scales glint in shifting patterns of gold, silver, and faint copper, casting flickers of light across the sandy bottom. These fish are not raised for food, but for their vitality, their presence adding balance and energy to the sacred waters. Their gentle motion stirs tiny currents, ensuring oxygen flows through the roots of the medicinal plants, carrying nutrients from one part of the lagoon to another. Even their quiet swimming feels purposeful, a subtle dance that contributes to the harmony of this living pharmacy. As you watch, small dragonflies flit over the water's surface, their wings refracting sunlight into tiny rainbows. Each movement is deliberate yet fleeting, like a thought passing through consciousness. Their presence feels like a blessing, a signal that the healing waters themselves are alive and aware. Tiny insects buzz and hum, visiting flowers, pollinating, ensuring the next generation of plants will grow strong and full of life. Every element, water, plant, insect, and fish, is part of a delicate balance that has been perfected through centuries of observation, care, and devotion. The Karandra pauses, leaning close to a cluster of toloatsin, her breath mingling with the fragrant air. She murmurs an incantation that seems to vibrate through the water itself. The light catches the floating leaves, the curling smoke of copal, the shimmer of fish scales, and the petals of the mint and datura, creating a kaleidoscope of motion, color, and scent. It is a living, breathing symphony of healing. You feel a sense of serenity washing over you, each breath aligning with the rhythm of the lagoon. The rocking of the canoe, the gentle hum of wind across leaves, the soft lapping of water against the wooden hull, all combine to slow your heartbeat, deepen your breath, and soothe every muscle. The Karandra's quiet, purposeful movements and low murmured chants blend seamlessly with the natural sounds of the lagoon, forming a lullaby that is simultaneously ancient and immediate, grounding yet ethereal. Time seems suspended. The sun tilts lower, casting long golden fingers of light across the water. Shadows stretch and bend across the floating garden, falling in slow patterns that move like slow dancers in a silent performance. You can see the faint shimmer of pollen drifting in the air, catching the sunlight like tiny sparks of gold. The herbs, flowers, and water all exude quiet energy. Energy that reaches you, flowing through the air, the canoe, and into your own body, a gentle infusion of peace and restoration. And as your eyelids grow impossibly heavy once more, the last sounds you notice are the soft ripple of water, the delicate whisper of leaves stirred by the breeze, and the faint hum of life from fish, insects, and plants alike. You drift effortlessly into deep, restorative sleep, cradled in the sacred embrace of the healing waters, wrapped in the fragrances of the floating garden, and protected by the gentle presence of the Karandra and the spirits of the lagoon. Water hyacinths float gracefully on the surface of the lagoon, their glossy, rounded leaves forming natural platforms where water striders glide effortlessly, their tiny legs creating delicate dimples in the water. The flowers bloom in shades of violet and lavender, resembling miniature orchids that catch the light, nodding gently with the rhythm of the breeze. These plants are not merely ornamental. They are the silent workers of the lagoon. Their roots filter the water, absorbing impurities and nourishing the aquatic ecosystem. They purify the channels that weave through the floating gardens, creating the perfect environment for the medicinal plants that thrive here. Their roots dipping into the crystal clear water below. The Karandra notices your approach, her sharp yet kind eyes catching the sunlight, reflecting its warmth as if the sacred cenotes themselves were mirrored in her gaze. Her face is lined with years of experience, of laughter, sorrow, patience, and observation. Yet her eyes remain bright, alert, and welcoming. She gestures with a slow, deliberate motion for you to tie your canoe to a wooden post carved with protective symbols, spirals, waves, and geometric patterns that have stood for generations as guardians of both land and spirit. From a low table beside her, she lifts a gourd painted with hummingbirds in vibrant colors, each curve and feather depicted with meticulous care. Inside, pale green liquid shimmers in the sunlight, infused with the fresh aroma of mint, a whisper of honey, and the subtle earthiness that hints at deep roots and ancient knowledge. You take a sip. The cool liquid spreads through your mouth, its gentle sweetness melting into your senses. And as it travels down your throat, a soft warmth unfurls across your chest, radiating slowly to your limbs. It is a warmth that relaxes muscles, eases tension, and seems to touch something deeper, a calm echo in your spirit. This water comes from the sacred spring, she says, her voice low, melodic, and soothing. Her words are softly accented Spanish, interwoven with Nahuatl terms, carrying a rhythm that is as old as the lake itself, where Calcayetlacu herself blessed the earth with healing power. It carries the memory of every flower that has touched it, every prayer that has been spoken over it. You feel the truth of her words, the weight of centuries of care and devotion resting in this small cup, flowing into you with the warmth of the sun reflected on the water. Around her floating garden, the medicinal plants flourish in carefully arranged clusters. Passion vine stretches elegantly with its intricate purple blossoms, curling tendrils swaying in the breeze, a natural remedy for hearts weighed down by grief or unrest. Epizote grows in neat rows, its pungent leaves releasing a sharp, herbal fragrance that cleanses and aids digestion, reminding you that even the strongest flavors carry purpose. Tiny yellow blooms of rue peek among the greenery, their presence protective, believed to repel negative energy and harmful thoughts. Every plant here holds not only its physical gift, but a spiritual essence, a story encoded in leaves, stems, and roots that has been handed down through countless generations. Clay pots simmer gently on small stoves, releasing spirals of fragrant vapor that mingle with the lagoon's fresh, herb-scented air. Each steam tendril carries concentrated essences: chamomile for calm and restorative sleep, damiana for strength, vitality, and a lightening of the heart, oregano for respiratory ease and cleansing of the spirit. The aroma is heady but gentle, enveloping you in layers of scent, like invisible threads weaving comfort into every breath. You notice how the air itself feels alive, vibrating with the essence of the plants, carrying a quiet energy that touches body and mind alike. At the center of the garden stands a small altar, carefully constructed of dark, polished wood and decorated with offerings meant to honor the unseen forces of health and restoration. Fresh flowers, petals arranged in meticulous patterns, crown the surface. Copal incense burns steadily, sending ribbons of white smoke curling toward the sky. Tiny clay figures, humble representations of deities, ancestral guides, and symbolic guardians of healing, are positioned with care. Fresh marigold petals carpet the altar like soft sunlight frozen in time. Their glow bright yet gentle, reflecting a warmth that feels as though the garden itself is breathing, alive with energy and intention. The healer moves among the plants, her gestures slow and deliberate, a quiet symphony of motion. She explains, in her soft, reverent voice, that she learned her craft from her grandmother, who in turn learned from hers, in an unbroken chain stretching back to the earliest days when the gods first taught humans the secrets of plant medicine. Each generation adds new knowledge while preserving the ancient wisdom. Each new leaf or preparation, a continuation of a story older than empires, older than stone and river, older than memory itself. Every touch of the plants, every murmur of blessing, every careful arrangement of water and soil carries the weight and devotion of centuries, a legacy that flows like the lagoon, gentle, constant, and sustaining. The water reflects all of this in its still, luminous surface. The hyacinths float lazily, their purple blooms nodding, as if in agreement with the Carandra's work. Fish glide beneath, catching fragments of light, their scales shimmering like scattered gemstones. Dragonflies skim the surface, wings catching the sun, scattering rainbows in tiny arcs. Even the breeze seems mindful here, moving softly, brushing the leaves and petals, carrying scent and sound with deliberate care. As you take another sip from the gourd, you feel the warmth spreading more deeply now, through your chest, into your shoulders, down to your fingers and toes. The rocking canoe becomes a cradle. The soft sounds of water, the rustle of leaves, the low hum of distant insects, the faint crackle of burning copal, all blend together into a single, harmonious pulse that matches the rhythm of your own breath. Each inhale draws in peace, each exhale releases tension. Time slows, the world beyond the lagoon fades. Your eyes grow heavy. The sounds and scents, the gentle rocking of the canoe, the Carandra's soft murmurs, the slow shimmer of light across water and leaves, all merge into a cocoon of serenity. You drift further and further into stillness, your body melting into the rhythm of the floating garden, your mind following the soft trails of fragrance, sunlight, and gentle movement. The last thing you feel before slipping fully into sleep is the warm sun on your face, the subtle sway of the water beneath you, and the quiet assurance that the healing waters, the sacred plants, and the centuries of knowledge and care are cradling you in their embrace. You drift into a deep, restful, regenerative sleep. The Karandra leads you to a plant with delicate, vibrant green leaves, chia star. Tiny seeds hide within its small pods, each one a concentrated capsule of energy and nutrition. You notice how the blue flowers bloom in clusters, delicate and almost translucent in the soft afternoon light. Butterflies flit from bloom to bloom, wings brushing gently against petals, their movements scattering small shadows across the water. Hummingbirds hover above, their iridescent feathers catching sunlight in flashes of green, blue, and red. These blossoms are not merely beautiful. They serve a purpose far greater than the eye can see. The seeds they produce were carried by warriors across long journeys, small handfuls sustaining strength and endurance for an entire day. Each seed is a testament to the ingenuity of the people who first cultivated it, a gift from the earth preserved through generations. In the quietest, most secluded corner of the floating garden, the Karandra shows you a sacred plant, *ololiuqui*, a special variety of morning glory. Its heart-shaped leaves ripple gently in the breeze, and trumpet-shaped flowers open wide, their white petals glowing softly in the waning light of the afternoon. At first glance, the plant seems innocent, delicate, even fragile. Yet the seeds it bears contain medicine of profound spiritual power, used to heal the soul and connect the mortal world with the divine. The Karandra harvests them only at specific moon phases, when their energy is at its peak. You can almost feel the gentle hum of that power in the air around it, vibrating softly through leaves, water, and stone. A subtle resonance of energy older than memory. The afternoon sun begins to soften, tilting lower in the sky, stretching long golden shadows across the water and across the floating gardens. Every ripple, every movement of the leaves, every glint of light on the water feels deliberate, measured, and perfectly balanced. The Karandra lights another coil of copal incense. Its sweet, fragrant smoke curls upward, a thick, lazy spiral that sways gently in the breeze. The scent is warm and grounding, carrying a subtle sharpness, like the heart of the earth itself. It moves as though alive, wrapping around your body, brushing against your thoughts, and drawing your attention inward. You can almost feel your worries dissolving, lifted gently on the fragrant tendrils, carried away into the unseen currents of the spiritual realm. Water trickles softly through bamboo pipes, flowing from one section of the floating garden to another. Its sound is delicate, like liquid music, each drop finding its own perfect place, each small splash vibrating against the wooden channels and leaves. You notice the rhythm, slow, steady, calming, hypnotic. It is a rhythm older than cities, older than stone and river, a cadence that carries memory itself. The Aztecs believed that water remembers, that it retains the intentions, prayers, and blessings of all who touch it. You feel this as you sit quietly, listening, breathing in the subtle fragrance of mint, marigold, and lavender carried on the breeze, and sensing a gentle flow of energy moving through the lagoon, through the floating gardens, and into your own being. From the reeds along the edges of the water, a family of herons arrives for their evening rest. They move with graceful deliberation, one step at a time, landing lightly without a sound. Their long necks curve with elegant patience, and their eyes seem to hold the wisdom of centuries. The Karandra nods slightly, acknowledging their presence. In this sacred space, their arrival is a blessing, a sign that the healing energy extends to all creatures, large and small. They stand like meditative masters, poised and aware, radiating calm and stillness, their reflections mirrored perfectly in the smooth surface of the lagoon. The healer turns to prepare a special tea for you, each step careful, deliberate, sacred. Lavender flowers are added first, their scent immediately calming, filling the air with a gentle floral embrace. Lemon balm leaves follow, bringing a bright, clean aroma that lifts the spirit and soothes tension. A few grains of cacao are crushed and stirred in, their rich, deep fragrance grounding you while connecting the drinker to the divine. The Karandra explains that cacao was considered precious, even currency, for its spiritual significance as the food of the gods. The warm liquid pours into a gourd, its surface shimmering in the fading sunlight, catching flecks of gold as if the tea itself contains sunlight captured from the floating gardens. As you sip, the warmth spreads slowly through your chest, radiating outward like sunlight on the skin, softening tension in your shoulders, arms, and back. The flavors and fragrances of the herbs enter your senses, their energies working gently, subtly, dissolving stress, clearing the mind, and easing the heart. Your body begins to synchronize with the rhythm of the lagoon, the subtle rocking of the canoe, the soft lapping of water against the reeds, the distant hum of insects and birds returning to rest. Every element, every sound, every scent carries the same message: serenity, balance, restoration. The first stars begin to appear as twilight descends. Tiny points of light shimmer faintly in the deepening sky, and the water mirrors them perfectly, creating an illusion of a second underwater constellation. The Karandra whispers softly that each star represents a healing spirit, watching over those who seek peace, wellness, and guidance. You can feel the connection as if the light itself carries the energy of these spirits down to the floating gardens, through the plants, into the water, and finally into your own being. Breath slows naturally. Inhale, drawing in warmth, fragrance, and energy. Exhale, releasing worry, fatigue, and tension. The rocking of the canoe, the soft ripple of water, the fragrant incense, the gentle hum of the garden, the distant call of birds, all combine into a living lullaby, a symphony of stillness and care. You feel cradled in the hands of the sacred lagoon, surrounded by centuries of wisdom, devotion, and healing. Every sound, every scent, every glimmer of starlight and reflection becomes a thread in a tapestry of rest. Your eyelids grow impossibly heavy. The tea's warmth, the herb's gentle magic, the stillness of the herons, the whispering incense, and the soft movement of the water merge to carry you deeper. You drift slowly, smoothly, effortlessly into a deep, restorative, regenerative sleep. The lagoon, the plants, the herons, the floating gardens, and the Karandra all hold you, rocking, breathing, humming in perfect harmony. And as you sink further, every last trace of tension dissolves into the sacred waters, leaving only calm, peace, and the slow, gentle rhythm of the floating world that surrounds you. Night-blooming flowers begin their slow, deliberate transformation as twilight deepens into night. Petals unfurl with delicate care, releasing fragrances that mingle with the cool evening air. Clocks open their trumpet-shaped blooms in shades of crimson, pink, and soft magenta, filling the surroundings with a gentle, intoxicating perfume that drifts lazily across the floating gardens. Pale yellow evening primrose glows faintly in the gathering dusk, as if illuminated from within by captured sunlight. Each blossom carries its own unique scent, and together they create a complex, soothing aroma that blends seamlessly with the lingering smoke of copal incense. The sweet, resinous smoke rises in ethereal spirals from small altars along the canals, connecting the earthly world with the divine, carrying prayers and intentions upward toward the heavens and weaving them into the night air. The gentle sound of waves lapping against the wooden hull of your canoe becomes a natural lullaby, rhythmic and steady, harmonizing with the heartbeat of the lake. Occasionally, the soft hoot of an owl punctuates the quiet, a deep, resonant note that reminds you of the ancient wisdom held by these nocturnal guardians. Night birds stir among the reeds and trees along the canals, their calls and songs awakening in the dusk. The carandra's soft humming mingles with these natural sounds, a melodic undertone that flows through the garden, curling around every leaf, petal, and stalk. This cocoon of sound envelopes you, a warm embrace of nature and human intention, carrying a sense of calm, protection, and serenity. Your breathing slows, deepens, becoming rhythmic and synchronized with the subtle pulse of the water around you. Each inhale draws in the cool, herb-scented air of the floating gardens. Each exhale releases tension and fatigue, letting your body sink further into the gentle rocking of the canoe. The reflections of the stars shimmer on the water's surface, flickering like scattered jewels, like points of light guiding your consciousness toward healing dreams. Ripples move across the lagoon, their motion slow and hypnotic, carrying your awareness along gentle currents that seem to lead into realms of comfort, rest, and restorative sleep. The night-blooming flowers sway lightly in the breeze, their movement almost imperceptible, yet profound, as if whispering ancient secrets of relaxation and balance. Your eyelids grow impossibly heavy, and your body melts into the rhythm of the water and the garden. You drift, weightless, into a deep, restorative sleep, cocooned in the combined scents, sounds, and sensations of the sacred night garden. Chapter 4. The night market of dreams begins as you emerge slowly from this deep rest. Your awareness returns gently, like a moth drawn toward distant torchlight. Your canoe has drifted along the moonlit canals, now opening into the wider waterways that lead to Tenochtitlan. The great city stretches before you like a jewel set in obsidian water, each reflection glittering with starlight and torchlight. Countless canoes glide silently through the channels, their passengers moving with purpose toward or from the legendary night market at Tlatelolco. The torches on the boats cast flickering, golden shadows that dance across the water's surface, creating serpentine reflections that move in harmony with the undulating waves. The air is alive with the night symphony of the city. Soft voices speaking in musical Nahuatl float across the channels, gentle yet full of life, as neighbors and vendors converse in the rhythm of centuries-old tradition. The splash of paddles against the water adds a subtle percussion, blending with the delicate melody of wooden flutes played by street musicians stationed along the banks. From the distant temples, a low drumbeat carries across the city, deep and resonant, grounding the pulse of the market, connecting earth to sky, present to past. These sounds coalesce into a living, breathing song of the night market, a lullaby for the city itself, alive with history, trade, and the quiet reverence of countless prayers. Your canoe moves effortlessly alongside the other vessels, joining a peaceful procession toward the heart of the market. Canoes carry baskets overflowing with flowers destined for temple ceremonies, trays of fresh vegetables from the chinampas, carefully crafted clay pots brimming with honey and precious cacao beans. Every item is part of a vast circulation that sustains life, culture, and devotion across the empire. A wise, elderly merchant in the canoe beside you offers a taste of his drinking chocolate, prepared traditionally with ground cacao, water, and a subtle hint of chili. The drink is rich, frothy, and layered with flavor, each sip connecting the drinker to the divine, a bridge between human and gods, a reminder of the sacredness of daily nourishment. He speaks softly, Spanish and Nahuatl blending in a melodic cadence, sharing his knowledge of the market. The night market is different from the day market. Here, people move more slowly. They pause. They appreciate each item, each flower, each fruit. They honor the effort of the hands that crafted them, the soil that nourished them, the sun that ripened them. You sense the truth of his words as you drift with the procession, the gentle sway of the canoe matching the pulse of your own heartbeat, slow and steady, in perfect alignment with the rhythm of the city at night. Ahead, the stepped sides of the Great Pyramid of Tenochtitlan rise against the dark, star-strewn sky. Fires burn at multiple levels, casting a flickering orange glow on the stone, illuminating the steps where priests maintain eternal flames. These flames honor the gods, carrying smoke and prayers skyward, a perpetual offering of light in the darkness. You feel awe ripple through you, a deep sense of reverence and wonder, as the magnitude of human devotion and architectural mastery reveals itself in the quiet grandeur of the temple pyramid. The reflections of torchlight and starlight shimmer in the water around your canoe, duplicating the towering splendor above, merging heaven and earth, temple and lake, into a single, radiant vision. The aroma of night flowers, copal smoke, and fresh lake water interweaves with the distant scent of roasted cacao and sweet honey, forming a fragrant tapestry that settles into your consciousness. Every inhale draws you deeper into the present moment. Every exhale allows you to let go of tension and distraction. The lanterns of the night market flicker and sway, guiding your eyes across canals, boats, and merchants. Yet your focus drifts inward, guided by the combined music of water, wind, and human devotion. You sense that every step, every movement of the canoes, every flicker of flame, every soft word spoken in Nahuatl is a note in a larger composition, a symphony that spans centuries, connecting all who have lived, loved, worked, and prayed here. The gentle rocking of your canoe, the rhythmic lapping of water against the hull, the distant hoot of an owl returning to rest, the soft calls of night birds, the whisper of floating flowers swaying in the breeze, all merge into a lullaby more ancient and profound than any human composition. Your breath becomes slow, steady, and in perfect harmony with the city, the water, and the night sky above. Each heartbeat resonates with the pulse of Tenochtitlan, and you feel your body relax, your muscles melting, your mind drifting as consciousness flows with the canal's gentle current. Stars multiply across the sky, reflected again in the calm water below, doubling the heavens, as if you are suspended between two constellations. The eternal fires of the temple mirror the stars, guiding your attention upward, inward, and outward simultaneously. The market continues its rhythm, but you are cocooned in your own world of sensory immersio. And light, scent, sound, and gentle motion blending into a seamless flow. Your eyelids grow impossibly heavy. The golden serpentine reflections on the water blur softly as you surrender to the pull of deep, restorative sleep. The night-blooming flowers sway gently with the breeze. The aroma of copal and cacao lingers in your senses, and the sacred waters cradle your consciousness as the canoe drifts slowly toward dreams filled with stars, firelight, and the timeless heartbeat of Tenochtitlan. You drift, weightless, peaceful, and complete into a restorative, profound, and healing sleep. As our journey together comes to a gentle close tonight, I want to take a few moments to reflect on the time we've shared and the peaceful voyage we've taken through the realms of imagination, dreams, and stories that soothe the mind. The soft whispers of the night, the subtle rustle of leaves, the gentle lap of water against unseen shores. All of these things have accompanied you while you relaxed, breathed deeply, and let your thoughts drift. We have wandered together through worlds of calm, through landscapes both real and imagined, where the pace of life slows and every sensation can be savored. Every sigh, every blink, every heartbeat has been part of this shared experience, a delicate rhythm connecting us even though we may be miles apart. I hope that during this time, your mind has found space to stretch, to breathe, to let go of any worries or stress that may have followed you throughout the day. These moments of quiet are not just pauses. They are small gifts to yourself, tiny sanctuaries carved out of the chaos of life. As you rest, imagine your thoughts like clouds drifting across the sky, each one soft, light, and free. There is no need to hold on to them, to chase them, or to make them stay. Simply let them pass. Watch them float, dissolve, and fade until your mind becomes as calm and clear as a still lake under the gentle glow of the moon. Before we part, I want to remind you that your support helps this channel continue to grow and bring even more moments of rest, calm, and inspiration to you and to others who seek the gentle embrace of a story, a sound, or a guiding voice to carry them into sleep. If you have enjoyed this time, if you have felt even a small measure of peace, please take a moment to click the like button. Every single like is a ripple in the calm waters of this channel, helping it reach others who are looking for the same moments of serenity and comfort that you've found here. Subscribing is another way to stay connected, to ensure that the door to this quiet world remains open whenever you need it. By subscribing, you create a little sanctuary in your own routine, a place you can return to night after night, where stories, soft sounds, and relaxing guidance await. Think of it as planting a seed that will bloom into ongoing calm, a gentle reminder that peace, rest, and soothing moments are always within reach. Every subscriber adds to a community of people who value mindfulness, relaxation, and the small yet profound joy of letting go. Together, we form a network of shared serenity, a collective of dreamers who understand the importance of giving oneself permission to pause, breathe, and drift. Remember also that sharing this channel with friends, family, or anyone who might benefit from these moments of quiet can extend the ripple of calm even further. A simple recommendation, a gentle word, a reminder that this sanctuary exists for them too. These are gifts that multiply in unseen ways. Imagine your own experience and how it might touch someone else's evening, helping them to unwind, to release tension, and to prepare for restful sleep. Just as the gentle sound of water lapping against a boat or the soft rustle of trees can ease your mind, your support, encouragement, and sharing can ease someone else's journey into relaxation. As we close this session together, Take one last deep breath. Feel the air filling your lungs, expanding your chest, and carrying a sense of calm and clarity throughout your body. Hold it for just a moment, and now release, letting go of every tension, every thought, every lingering worry. Let your shoulders fall, your hands rest, your feet sink comfortably into whatever surface supports you. Feel the ground beneath you, solid and steady, a gentle reminder that even as your mind drifts into rest, your body is safe, nurtured, and supported. Imagine the light of this peaceful world softening around you, wrapping you in warmth and comfort. Let it flow through every corner of your mind, washing away the stresses of the day, smoothing every wrinkle of thought, and leaving only serenity, clarity, and stillness behind. You are safe here, you are supported, and your mind is free to wander, explore, and rest as it needs. There is no hurry, no expectation, no pressure, only the gentle rhythm of breath, the quiet presence of this moment, and the invitation to let yourself simply be. As this video comes to its end, take a slow, lingering look at your surroundings, even if it's only through your imagination. Notice the small details, the play of shadows and light, the soft hues of the sky as evening deepens, the faint, soothing sounds of the world moving gently around you. Know that you can return to this feeling, this space of calm, anytime you choose, simply by closing your eyes and remembering the serenity you have created here tonight. Thank you, truly, for allowing me to guide you through this evening, for trusting these words, these stories, and this space to help you rest and rejuvenate. Your presence matters more than you may ever realize, and the energy you bring to this channel helps it continue to provide the comfort, guidance, and gentle peace that so many seek. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, and to share this experience with others, so that we may continue building a world of calm, a world of soft and restorative moments, one viewer at a time. And now, as you prepare to close your eyes completely, let one final wave of relaxation sweep over you. Feel your body sinking into comfort, your mind drifting as softly as clouds across a twilight sky. Your breathing is slow, rhythmic, steady, carrying you toward dreams that are gentle, nourishing, and deeply restorative. Know that you are safe, you are valued, and you are ready for the night ahead. Drift peacefully, rest completely, sleep deeply, and when you awaken, carry a little of this serenity with you into the new day. Good night. Thank you for being here. Remember to like, subscribe, and share the calm. May your dreams be filled with peace, wonder, and gentle joy tonight and every night to come.